And we are now live. I don't know if anybody's going to drop in on it, but we are live. TikTok. Is there something that I can set underneath to get it? Need a little bit higher. Rearrange. Boom. That works.
Are adaptations the same from the old care sheet to the new one?
Like, what do you mean?
Setting up this camera now.
On the old one, I had one in beauty and one in invitation. Was that transfer over or not?
Not unless you bought them, or unless your sire gave you those abilities.
Okay. Okay.
And if you want an adaptation, they're going to be 5 per one.
5 per one. What do you say we get from our sire?
Not put any in
You get one evolution, one adaptation, and one dark gift from your sire.
I need to see the dark gifts.
So I can flip this around here.
No, I was about to say, because the last time I went down there and looked at
The adaptations are the same ones, right? Beauty, fae, food, stuff like that? The adaptations are the same ones, right? Beauty, fae, food.
I don't think food's in there anymore, but it may be.
What's in there?
The exact adaptations you can pick from.
You're a little high, buddy.
Yep. I'm trying to. I need some slack here.
Guys. Hey guys, we need some slack on that board.
Thank you, sir. Well, shucks.
Couldn't we put the phone?
Yep, that's a good idea. Flip camera. Upside down. Still upside down. What the hell? No matter what I do, everyone's upside down. Okay, so that's right side up. What the hell?
Was it normal earlier?
Yeah, I had it normal earlier. It's just not wanting to. Why are we upside down?
Well, we're playing a vampire game. We're just hanging out the ceiling. That's all.
I mean, that's a funny way to look at it, for sure. Your computer's just not wanting to get younger Dave in there.
That's alright.
Once you get him in, the new girl won't be able to fit in either. And kill the phone.
Multiple cameras. Okay, so Dave's now in the picture. That's upside down. Okay, so that's right side up. How do you go from right side up to completely upside down just by tilting it one side? You would think the rotate would.
I'm lucky, my phone doesn't have that problem.
Where you're doing a live, maybe it's got the camera inverted, so it's like your left looks like your right.
Doesn't look like it.
I would say that if it didn't, if you turn it the other way, it still does the same thing. If you turn it left or right, it still makes it upside down.
Me looking right at it to where my left shoulder is my right shoulder.
I'm just gonna have to like try to angle it here, but finding the sweet spot where I can get both Thomas and young Dave in there seems like it doesn't want to quite do that. Maybe if I get it higher. Oh yeah, that's not gonna be a bad idea or anything like that.
Let's just hope the phone don't fall.
I mean, if you position it right.
See, it would be able to do it perfectly if, you know, it didn't make us go upside down for no reason.
Well, they got us down on that last one you had, we were right side up.
Yeah, we were the right
Mirror
way.
image.
Okay. We're fucking upside down again. What the shit?
And no longer live.
It's about ready to be that way. Jesus.
Hey, if we have camera problems long enough, he'll
Someone
show up
join
and
us and
we'll all
talk
be
us
here.
through it.
Who's the IT guy around here?
The first person.
No, Brandon, I don't know what I'm doing. Shut up. If you're so smart, you could have showed up today and helped us.
Mouthing off already.
Yes, he is.
We got a viewer.
Okay, that'll just be if you want to be caught on camera, I guess you can lean into it.
The thing is, that one is just a matter of everybody.
Usually I don't want
I don't think that the laptop's actually recording at the moment.
That,
No, the laptop's not even recording. Ah, screw it. I'll just settle for being live on TikTok.
well, I mean, you could have done the other one, just large
censored.
Okay.
Okay, I think I have everything
My
good
dice.
set up.
Is it over with my Freddy Krueger stuff?
probably.
No. Well, I know I brought the shit in here.
Or just, our sire gives us one get, or evolution,
One of each.
One of each.
So you can go up to the second level of your bite, or you can take it out. Okay.
And
So now you have a saliva that when you bite someone, you can lick the spot and it'll heal up and conceal the fact that you bit them.
and skills cost a level.
I found my dice.
Okay.
And skills cost a level to get them, right?
Skills cost the level, one level if they're new, but if you're trying to upgrade them, they cost the level that you're trying to get them to.
So let's see here. Oh, also, if you get a skill, do you get something from this, or?
No. Buying proficiencies is separate from buying skills.
Okay, want to make sure on that.
I don't know if anybody's listening in at the moment. Hello if you are. We're debuting my tabletop vampire RPG BloodLust today. If people want to go around starting at unseasoned Dave down there, introduce yourself and your characters and what they look like.
I'm David. I'm
You're not in screen.
Yeah.
Sticking
So,
Stick your head in.
if I can. I'm David. I'm playing Jack Hunt, the classic. He looks like the classic vampire hunter Van Helsing.
What bloodline is he?
He is the Wendigo bloodline.
Okay. Seasoned Dave.
Good evening. I just go by Dave. They call me Season Dave. But my character is Jean Thomas Lebeau. He's a French pirate and smuggler. He's from the Ambrosia bloodline.
Isaiah.
Hi, my character's name is Nathaniel. He is a slave trader and has a, what was it, mob boss background.
Yeah, you're a human trafficker / smuggler.
Yes.
We're getting up.
And then my character,
It's a Civil War era. Come on, man.
yeah, I was about to say, a Civil War era, so it's somewhat normal. Let's see. My character looks like the character known as John Marston off of Red Dead Redemption.
Topher?
Topher Moore, playing Jameson Shelby, Irish indentured servant. Bloodline, I'm playing a Setite. Just your common immigrant Irishman is what I look like. Nice little bowler hat when they let me have my stuff. Good day.
I did forget to mention mine's also a Septite, and we also, as a bloodline, have scales, since that we are Septite.
Yeah, you two are like snake-like beings.
And we got ran out of Ireland.
Congratulations, you're the reason. You're the reason freaking.
And that's why you have a lucky chance.
You're the reason St. Patrick's Day exists.
Yes.
Finally, Thomas.
I'm Thomas. I am playing Arson Alabaster, a young antiquarian whose sire is a very sadistic woman, and basically he's at her whim. And he's also a bit more of a spellcaster than most other.
What's his bloodline?
Strigoi.
Okay. I'm Alex Boggs. I am the game master for this particular game, and I'm also the creator of BloodLust. This is a D6 system, as well as a dice pool system. Hopefully, as we play, you will be able to follow along and be able to enjoy what we're doing tonight. We are doing our live from the Warrior's Den, ice cream parlor and game shop in Scottsburg, Indiana. So, gentlemen, as darkness falls over the New Orleans skyline, the year is 1849. We are a couple years removed from the beginning of the Civil War. And you all have been called to the Delacroix plantation by the head mistress who you have met before. When you arrive to her plantation, you realize that your sires are not there this evening. They're probably out doing their own thing, and Miss Delacroix has a specific problem that she's called the five of you in for at the moment. And as the candles and chandeliers are burning to light up the house and to make everything slightly warmer. What's going on?
I need the adaptation to see what all my things get me.
Okay. Yeah, I got stuff for you. So, you get to the plantation, and you arrive at the door at different intervals in the night. And your group is finally together. At which point, a servant of the plantation comes out, and he says, "Gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight. May I introduce you to Mrs. Delacroix? At which point, the woman who you've met before and are somewhat familiar with emerges from where she was at in this Victorian era sky blue dress that is shoulderless, just kind of like straps around the arm, and a little bit of a bell, not quite full blown out there, but it's a little bit poofy on the bottom. Her hair has been tied up with several different braids and strung together with a matching blue ribbon to her dress. And she's wearing elbow-length white gloves as she walks down her little stairs to meet you all. She goes, "Thank you for the polite introduction, Jonas. You are excused." And he does a little bow and he walks away to do whatever it is that he's going to do that evening. And she goes, "Good evening, gentlemen."
Good evening, as I slightly bow.
Bow as well. I bow quietly.
There has been a, shall I say, a lack of communication from one of our contacts in the inner city. Usually, it means that he's probably out, but he's been given me no notice of him leaving the city, and quite frankly, I've gone a little concerned. Surely a group of fledglings like yourself should have no problem finding out where his whereabouts are. She goes into the cleavage of her dress and she pulls out a little piece of paper. And she's like, "Gentlemen, this is the address of the contacts. I suggest you start looking for him there."
As I hold my hand out to receive the letter.
She gives it to you. And you can kind of smell the perfume that she's wearing still on it, considering where she tucked it away. It's not a bad smell. But what do you do with the letter? Do you just kind of keep hold of it? Do you put it away? And...
I put it away until after we, head out.
Okay.
I bow again and take my axe and head to the exit.
If you need to grab anything while you're here, my house is yours. So anything that will ensure success with your endeavor. Good evening, gentlemen. And she walks back up the stairs and goes back to whatever it is that she was doing in the room before.
By the way, we did start off with the actual starting equipment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you had starting equipment on your old character sheet, you do get to transfer that over to your new one. Which I'm pretty sure you had a cutlass. That'll be the same stats as your sword. So if you want to help him out with that.
Alright, got it.
Okay.
So, is it alright that I'm carrying my silver dagger?
Do you have an adaptation to silver?
2.
Then yeah, it's probably okay.
Alright.
I do need the main thing back just in case for me to double check stuff. I may have created the game, but I don't know everything about it. Not everything is always up there.
I also need the damage type on the stake.
If you come into physical contact with the silver, that's going to do 5 burning damage to you right off the bat.
Alright.
But as long as you're holding the handle of it, you're okay.
Okay.
You're not going to be repelled by it. And the stake that is in here. A stake is +1 damage.
Okay.
It's one-handed, and it does lethal and stun damage. Sorry, I forgot to add that it does stun damage.
Alright, and the dagger?
The dagger is +1 damage. It's one-handed, and it does stun damage.
Okay.
plus 1 for the stick.
And then that would do extra damage on vampires because of the silver. Right?
Yeah.
Damage in hands for my big hammer Rosie and single shot pistols.
Okay, so your single shot pistols are going to do +2, and they're going to do stun damage. And they're one-handed each. And how big's the hammer?
I think it was like a warhammer size type of hammer, like a big ass sledgehammer.
So that's 2-handed. And I'm going to say that that's +3 damage. And it'll do wound and stun.
And what about just claws? Just claws.
Those do wound damage, and they're +3. So basically, like, some of the most lethal human weapons are equivalent to getting scratched by vampire claws.
Oh, yeah, that was
Wait, no, that's wound and lethal for claws.
I was about to say, what about bite?
I think
I was
it's
about to say, because I don't think I actually
just
put that
plus
down.
2.
You didn't write down your bite.
Or, yeah, I didn't even, well, whenever, we were going over the character, I don't think we discussed
Okay.
bite then.
So let me find that section real quick. Well, if I can find that section. That's back over there. Adaptations. Okay, I'm missing tape. I'm missing a paper here, guys. It's got your evolutions on it.
I don't have it.
I handed back all the papers I had.
I haven't had those papers for more than 2 seconds anyway.
It might be on the back of the.
That's the old version of it. The new versions of it only have 3.
Right here.
Yeah, that would be this one.
That's how I was trying to get this back. This is the version of stuff.
Thing.
And Isaiah,
This
you got
one.
that hand that to me. I'll leave those as well. Okay.
Yeah, these are dark gifts. Thank you very much.
Bite is
Gets a +2 to attack and it's lethal.
So even if you bite at the vampires, it'll kill them.
That's if you have a +1, if you have a bite in your evolution anyway. If not, then it won't give you anything.
Okay, so she's giving you guys her farewells for the night. You all have 1 point of hunger at the moment because you haven't fed yet because you went straight to the plantation.
Okay.
So from this point forward, you're free to do as you wish. If you want to head to the dude's address first and start in on your investigation, you're free to do that. If you'd rather do your hunting first and eat before you deal with whatever it is that may be coming, you can do that as well.
You guys want to hunt or see about visiting
I'm gonna
the
go
farms
find that
first?
I prefer to hunt.
no horses.
I wasn't the one that ate the horses.
I know that was my fault.
I prefer smaller things.
Oh, and
like
no
chickens
getting
and
homeless people
rabbits.
with witnesses.
That happened once.
One time. So, okay, so you're all going out for what seems to be dinner tonight.
Mhm.
What are you doing for your specific hunts? Are you going to separate and do your own individual hunts, or are you wanting to do a pack hunt? So
I
to
say
speak?
we work together and bring down a deer.
burn down the theater.
No.
Well, I said,
No.
down
You
the
do know that you're supposed to be going under the radar, right?
No.
behind the deer, then
You want to say about turning somebody into a vampire hunter?
the things with antlers.
Oh, deer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you said burn down a theater.
No,
I
I
said
said wow.
Wow, we ain't even gotta be murder hobos.
Yeah. I'm sorry I misheard you.
I did too, because I was the next one that said burn down a theater. I'm like,
That's what I'm
Wow.
thinking. That's what I
I'm
thought
glad
you
I'm not
said
the
too.
only one.
I
Okay,
guess
so
I was like, no.
yeah, animal blood will sustain you and get you back to that point of hunger. So yeah, if you guys want to hunt down a deer or multiple deer, you can do that. Does anyone have proficiency with tracking?
I do.
Okay, so Topher, if you would like to give me a wisdom and tracking survivalist roll. So that'll be your as many dice as your wisdom score and with your survivalist score.
I only have points in wisdom, so just the 4.
How do you have proficiency in tracking survivalist?
That's the one you gave me.
Well, then you should have a point in survivalist, so you should have 5 dice in your pool. Everything that you have a proficiency in over here, go ahead and give yourself 1. Quirks of playing a new.
Oh, again, an attribute costs how much?
As many as what you're going to estimate. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's that's an easy that's an easy find there. You actually find a doe.
A deer, female deer.
Yeah. With 2 little younglings with her. There's more than enough blood between the 3 of them to feed all 5 of you. Well, what are you doing to get these deer?
chasing down.
You found them, but
How you can get them?
well, what are you doing to get them?
Going after them.
You just go straight up run after.
Well, if I go to shoot, doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to hit them. They're going to run off. Oh shit! I don't have claws on them.
You ain't the only problem.
I spotted them. What are you guys
Staying
doing?
under the radar, but you're gonna fire a gun.
Can
at night.
I climb up and drop down on him with my claws?
So, are you gonna try to sneak up on them?
From up above, yeah.
Okay. How are you getting above them?
Climb up a tree or something?
Okay. Give me a power and athletics build. I'm pretty sure your proficiency is with climb.
Yeah. That's power, so that's 4. And then climb is athletics, is 1, so that's 5. That's 12, 15, 16, 17.
Barely. So you just see him zoom up this tree, and he's up at the top of the tree. I'm gonna need you to make a power roll, strictly power, because you don't have proficiency in jumping.
Okay. That is 18.
Okay, so you leap from one tree to the next in several different successions. You're not exactly quiet about it, but you notice the deer kind of look up and they're like looking around for a second, so you stay up there and they kind of chill after a bit and they go back to grazing. Are you wanting to drop down and do your attack?
Yeah.
On which one? One of the two babies or the doe?
The doe.
All right. That is going to be a claw attack. So
Yep.
you can use either your power or your agility.
Okay.
By the way, I'm going to ready myself to go after one of the bongs once he lands on the doe.
Okay. And claws fall under melee.
Yeah.
So do you have the melee skill?
I do.
Okay. You don't need a proficiency with that. You're automatically proficient with your claws.
Yeah.
So take your whatever attribute you're using and your melee score, and that's how many dice you have.
Okay. 8, 13, 16, 17, and then 20 with plus 3.
Okay, so you drop down on the doe, and you tear into her with your claws, doing 3 damage. You barely beat her defense roll.
Okay.
She's definitely hurt, and her babies are now aware. Which means that we're going to have to roll initiative. So take 1d6 and then add your agility score to it. 9,
8,
8.
4.
Okay, all of you are going before the deer. So you guys see his character hop from tree to tree to tree, and then drop down on the doe and start tearing into it, and you hear it give out this unnatural, like, oh God, kind of scream. You two tied, so I'm gonna let you two decide between which of you goes first.
Whoever rolls the higher number on the d6.
Yep.
5.
Okay, so Mr. LeBeau, you go first.
Okay, so young, I take my sword, I really sprint to the nearest doe.
You won't be able to sprint. If you sprint, you're using your action.
So are you using your regular walking distance?
How far away is it?
I would say, considering you probably use the distraction of him jumping from tree to tree to get a little closer, you could probably make it within yeah, you guys probably made it within 40 feet of the deer without bothering them. So you could
Walk upon it and slice it.
the doe or one of the babies.
The baby. And the baby.
Okay. So give me whatever skill you're using plus your melee. So yeah, you run up, you like just whip over there. The baby looks over to see its mother getting mauled by one of your party members. And before it even really has time to register, its head just yoinks back as you slit its throat with your cutlass. It starts spraying out, and you're like, oh shit! Now you have a little deer slurpee going on. Isaiah, it's your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna be basically doing the same thing, but instead of slicing the other one's throat, I'm just gonna like plunge the sword into the neck of the other one.
Okay. Give me whatever between power or agility and your melee.
Right, so that'd be power 4 and then melee 175, right?
Yeah, that's 5 dice. And then you're also going to add your advantage with your sword.
Which is 2. So
Yeah.
2 more.
Yeah, it's going to be what you roll plus 2.
Let's see. 18, 19, 20,
Yeah.
We just
So you just run up to the other baby deer as it's like trying to register what's going on, but your vampiric powers have made your group way too fast. And so as it sees what's going on, it just feels almost what feels like a bee sting as you plunged your blade deep into the throat of the beast. And then you come around and bite it with your sword still embedded into its neck so it doesn't spray everywhere. So I take it the rest of you are just chowing down at this point because the only thing left is the dough, and both of you have your turns before it, and it only has like 2 hit points left. So
Yeah.
So, those 2 forms, what y'all doing?
So I'm assuming he's finishing it off. I'm just watching the
so
the
how
bloodbath.
it's you first. Did you roll higher than?
The dough
I
is
rolled a
still-
4, so yeah, he was higher.
Okay, so he's clawing into the dough at the moment. What are you doing to finish it off and to try to maybe make it to where you don't waste so much blood?
One of the messy parts, looking at bits and try to find a vein that's simple as can.
So you're going to try to bite it?
Yeah.
All right, give me. Are you going to be biting it with power or agility?
I guess power.
Okay, so that's 4. And then you're going to. You have a melee skill. You have a point in melee.
Not yet, I don't know.
Okay, so you're going to roll 4 dice. And then you're going to add your bite to that.
And your bite, if it's at second level, right?
Yeah.
What does it do at second level?
Oh,
He can lick the wound. And
It does give you a +2 to bite anyway,
Yeah.
so.
yeah. So,
You were only supposed to roll 4 dice.
I did, but I keep shuffling around.
Okay. So it's 9 plus 9, which is 18, plus 2, which is 20. Okay, so yeah, that's enough. As he's tearing into it and like blood squirting out of the thing from your claw attacks, you see him zoom up and he just kind of bites into one of the major arteries and starts drinking from it. At which point the doe that was screaming has now gone quiet. I believe you begin feeding on it, and you're just watching this go.
I'm just watching this bloodbath go down.
Okay, well, at some point you're going to have to partake in it so that you can get that hunger point done.
Yeah, I go in and I try and get what I can.
Okay.
I let the others feed, and I just feed its flesh since I can.
Okay, because you're one to go.
Yeah.
All right, so he's basically torn apart, and then as he's covered in this red ichor, he looks over at you and he's like,
And Arson, sort of reluctantly, since he's still very, very scared of all his vampire stuff, goes over and starts looking at the blood and starts getting a little bit used to it. A little bit.
okay.
You're just licking.
He's just like,
It's like popsicle.
He's not super hungry
It's like this-
yet or super weak.
it's like the saddest freaking ball of ice cream you've ever seen.
It's not like before when I was very low on health during that one fight,
Yeah.
and then Shout here gave me a rat, and I was just feasting on that like nothing else.
So, you all now have all of your hunger points back.
Okay.
Currently, you were not in town, but if you were to go into town in your current state, you would probably give away what you guys are.
Yeah,
So, what are you doing to kind of get focus off of yourself so that you can travel a little bit more freely?
Use anything I can to really clean off any of the blood that would be on my actual person. And as we are traveling towards where we're needing to go, I'm going to try and find maybe a clothesline that has any extra clothes hanging off of it.
Are you also using your beauty adaptation?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys see him walk up to this clothesline from one of these farm areas as he switches his clothes off. and then you see him kind of like pull back and start peeling skin off of his scaly form, and what looks more human but still kind of sick and elderly kind of erupts from this reptilian snake-like carcass being peeled off from around him, and you're like, oh god. And then he takes the clothes from the clothesline and gets himself back dressed up. What are the rest of you doing?
I'm gonna find a way to clean off. My clothes are dark enough that blood doesn't really show.
Okay, so probably just find like a lake or something.
Yeah, and clean off what I can.
Remember, you can't get too crazy into the water.
I have one adaptation of water.
Okay. So yeah, you could probably like throw your clothes in, and then get them a little wet, and then pull them out and use those to wash off. But
Yeah.
as far as like full on going into the lake, that's a no go.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get all that messy.
Yeah,
I was pretty much.
you
like-
waited for the shower to end before you went.
Yeah.
He just has to wipe his mouth a little bit with the leaf.
Isn't that poison oak? What?
Yeah.
Poison sumac.
You're dead, dude. It don't matter. So, you guys take some time to clean yourselves out. A little loosely. You start making your ways into town. Now, does anybody have the beauty adaptation besides?
I do.
Okay. So, are you guys using that to blend in a little bit more?
Yes.
Okay. So, unlike him, who had to get completely naked and peel his skin off, and then get redressed,
I was about to say I was getting rid of the bloody clothes.
what happens with your Strigoi friend here is after he feeds and he starts using this adaptation, you actually see his gaunt eyes fill in a little bit, and portions of his body that seemed more rotted and decayed starts filling in a little bit more. He starts having a little bit more muscle mass, and his skin now seems a little bit more flesh, almost as if filling from the inside out. You still look kind of old and elderly and sickly, but you've gone from being a corpse to passable as being alive. And you're an Ambrosian, so you kind of just always look like what you look like right now. You're just slightly younger, and just slightly less ill. So you look better than these two.
I can blend in a lot easier.
Yeah. So, what are you two, since you're still fairly beastly looking, what are you guys doing to travel into town?
Bring down my hat where it covers and looks down.
So you're just trying to do the old school blended.
Yeah.
Also, whatever state you said it's in, that one state, your shadows all the time.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
So,
Hiding places like.
so basically, what he looks like right now. If somebody does get a good look at you, it is really going to freak them out because you are very gaunt
Very gaunt.
in the
no
face.
lips.
You have super razor sharp teeth. You look almost more like a skeleton than you do a person. And you have like wild, bushy hair underneath the hat that you're hiding there. Do you have the hide skill?
I don't.
It's in espionage.
I don't have the hide skill.
Okay, so give me a social roll since you don't have the espionage skill. apparently. If it meets it, it beats it. So, so yeah, you have your hat down and your collar up, and you're doing your best to blend in. Luckily, your coat makes you look more filled than what your body actually is. There's a few people who may kind of like do double takes, but you don't see anyone like outright stop and recognize you or anything like that. So you feel fairly confident that you're blending in. Topher, what are you doing to make it into town?
Oh, he said he was gonna pop his collar up and.
So you're doing the same thing he is? Okay, do you have espionage? No, you don't. So, social, give me what, roll with your dice. Oh no.
Hey, at least you rolled at least somewhat decent.
So, this is a failed roll, but you didn't, like, critically fail or anything like that. So when you go into town, you're doing the same thing he's doing. But when people double take on you, they kind of go. You can see people being like, "Oh God, what's happened to that poor being? Oh, that poor man." things of that nature. You're drawing attention, but you don't look pleasant enough for anybody to like come up to you and try to see what's going on. People are. It's kind of like running into Deadpool on the street. You're like, yeah.
Probably around this time they'd be thinking he's a leper, kind of backing away a little bit.
Yeah, they don't want anything to do with you. Killer Croc walking down the street here. And there are illnesses that make people scaly, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Never see his one.
Some poison.
So, you do garner attention. But, so people are kind of uncomfortable around the two of you, but they don't notice you because they're too busy looking at him. So, everyone makes it to the address. You're able to get through the hallways and stuff like that. It's a small apartment building. And you make it to the room and the door is locked. What are you guys doing?
I'm trying to get the other dark patient.
My character's kind of standing off to the side of the door, but he just kind of taps it with his fingers a few times.
So he knocks.
Yeah. Like I said, not standing directly in front of the doorway or nothing, but.
No answer from inside.
I just kind of look at the rest and say, what do you guys want to try and do?
What floor are we on?
Second. It's not a very big apartment. Okay, you try and it's locked. Are you going to try to like power through the lock and break the door?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a straight up power roll.
11 again.
You try to, but you feel a kink in your wrist, and it kind of gives, and you're like, "Damn, that's a good doorknob."
I'll try to lockpick it.
Do you have anything
Yes.
to lockpick it with?
Well, actually, I don't think I do need it, but I know I got
You have a dagger, don't you?
yes.
Okay, so I will let you attempt to lockpick with the dagger, but you're gonna have unlucky dice.
Okay, which means what?
Well, first do your roll here.
So that's my lockpick skill plus what else?
It's going to be agility plus your lockpick skill. So take your highest dice.
Okay.
If there are multiple of that one dice, you're going to take all of them. But if it's just one dice by itself,
Okay.
Then you're gonna re-roll that. Okay, so what's the score now?
It was 18 and subtract 5. That's
13. Okay, so you stick the tip of the dagger into the lock, and you're like, God damn it, I really should have thought to buy a proper lockpick here.
right.
And you kind of fiddle with it for a little bit, and you're like, just can't get it.
I want to examine where the door meets the door frame by the lock. By the door handle. To see if I can fit my dagger in and just pop it open that way.
Yeah, you can. It looks like you'd be able to do that. Give me a straight up power roll.
18?
Okay, so you see him. He's like, "Here, let me try." So you kind of like step back and look around a little bit, make sure no one's paying attention to you guys breaking into this dude's apartment. And he shoves his knife in between the door and the door frame, and you feel him kind of bend, and your dagger does begin to bend. The steel of it does begin to bend, but as it bends, you feel the door just kind of give and start to slide open. So the door's open.
Now, are we following the same rules as vampires that can't enter rooms unless invited in?
If it is the dwelling of a living person, that's when your invitation is going to need to come into play. But this was the dwelling of a vampire.
Okay.
So you don't need an invitation to go into this.
Okay. I just kind of gesture towards the rest of the group saying, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, so as the door opens up, and do you have senses?
Yes.
Okay, so in the darkness, as you open it up, for those of you who do not have the senses evolution, you see like a vague humanoid kind of outline near like a far wall. There's not really enough light in there for you to tell what it is. Those of you who do have your first level of senses, you see a beheaded corpse of a strung up person or humanoid figure with like a small amount of blood on the floor, almost as if they were milked and strung up and left there. And something collected its blood.
I have senses, so whenever I see that, I just go,
My character just, since he also has senses, he says, well, that's rather interesting to have this hanging in your house.
You really need to get a better sense of these things. He was forced to be a vampire.
Yeah, out of all of you, he's the only one who didn't choose to become one. It was forced on him.
Yeah, pretty much. He just very, very aggressively, and I guess in a way, sensually, forced vampirism on me.
You know, a little seduction here and there has never hurt nobody.
Okay,
It hurt him.
That's the joke.
Okay, so plan of action here. My character is going to double take to make sure no one's paying attention. That, is not part of our group.
Okay.
I don't see anyone, right?
Yeah, there's no one in the hallways at the moment.
I'm going to go ahead and pull out my sword. And I'm going to hold him in front of me as I walk through the doorway.
Are you allowing him to use you as a human shield?
Oh, I'm not using him as a shield. I'm directing him into the room.
So
okay.
I just get shoved in there.
Yeah, basically, I'm grabbing you by your collar, saying, "In we go," because you're the only one out of all of us who looks like they are not going to go into the room willingly.
Plus, you'd fail if you tried to get him with a human shield.
Yeah, exactly, because he's not human.
Here, vampire shield.
There isn't much to worry about. This is just classic city vampire feeding.
But we that's actually his body, vampires turn.
Not in this game.
Most of the time.
Not in this game.
I usually use fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then they would turn
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
on.
So yeah,
Fire.
my character upon hearing this, would just sit there and kind of go like, "Well, yeah, that's if you use fire. That's just a hanging body. We need to make sure that that's not the person we're here to go and inspect. So let's go."
Well, somebody collected his blood, so
Yeah, and who knows why they
Uh,
didn't?
Mr. Occult. Give me an intelligence and an occult roll.
Alright.
Hoodoo.
Let's see here. Intelligence.
What?
So intelligence is 4 and occult.
That would go into your history.
So is it 2 history? 2 what did I do?
Two more dice.
And I have proficiency in occult. Does that add anything or?
That makes it to where you can use your skill dice in this.
It basically is what allowing you to use
Yeah.
2 more dice.
Okay, so I can use the history 2 because I have.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. 11, 15, 21, 23.
Okay, so you are aware of ways to kill vampires, as well as
So
there are a few beings that would feed on vampire blood. Human beings can mix vampire blood in with certain chemicals to make narcotics out of them.
like no one had anything.
Dampier are half-breed vampires who, if they feed off of vampire blood, they get vampiric powers with none of the weaknesses. Ghouls eat vampires, although they're not particularly intelligent enough to do something quite like this.
Is that darkness?
Oh, yeah,
So
it's
there-
darkest.
There are particular beings who, if they met a vampire, probably would and could kill a vampire in this fashion.
There's only certain.
Okay, I relate a little bit of what I know here to everyone, based on all that.
Okay. So now everyone's been made aware that you could be dealing with a creature you could be dealing with a vampire hunter. You could be dealing with a vampire slayer.
So the person that
You
hanging
could be
out
dealing with a
was-
dampier or some other supernatural creature that is aware of vampires.
So I'm sorry, I was trying to help him out, try to figure out what a dark gift because he forgot to have one on there. What is it we discovered?
Through his knowledge, you discovered that if this is the person that you're looking for, there are different kinds of creatures, including vampires, that very much could kill a vampire in this fashion. Because the vampire has been beheaded.
By the way.
And it is a vampire in this room right now.
Right. So do me a favor. Wall crawl is a dark gift you can take right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has no prerequisites.
Okay. I was just double checking just to make sure I helped him out right. So my character's gonna like take a surveillance around the room pretty much to see if I can notice if there's anything in the room.
Okay, do you have proficiency in awareness?
Not on the skills page, but I think there was nothing else. No, actually. It was persuasion that I had it been.
Okay, so that's going to be a straight up wisdom score.
Okay.
Because you're just kind of doing a general perception check.
Right.
Bloody boot prints are around the body.
My character's kind of gonna go up to it after I let him go.
Does anybody else want to try to do a check around the room to see what you find?
Yeah.
I'll do one.
Okay, so one of you can do the roll, and I'll give you lucky dice to do it if somebody helps them and has proficiency with awareness.
I have proficiency with awareness, but I don't have any skills under awareness.
That's fine.
Okay. I have proficiency in awareness.
Okay, so I'll let you do the roll,
Okay.
and you'll get lucky dice.
Okay.
So that's going to be the opposite of what happened to him.
Yeah.
So you're going to roll your dice. Now take the lowest one. If there's multiples of them, you get to re-roll both of them.
Okay. I forgot that dice. Alright, so 14, 18.
18. Okay, so beyond just the bloody boot prints that you found with him, you're looking around and you find a stake that is unused. You also see some scratch marks on the walls as if made by some sort of bladed instrument. Could be a dagger, could be a sword. And then there's a bunch of claw marks around the apartment. So there was a big scuffle that happened here.
Alright. I'm gonna start checking his pockets to see if there's a way to identify the body.
Okay, give me another wisdom.
16?
You look at his, throughout his suit and stuff, and then his jacket. Whoever did this left the wallet behind. There's not really any kind of form of identification or anything like that. But you find $5.
I take $5.
And also, as you're trifling through the pockets, a pocket watch slips out.
I'll take that too.
And the pocket watch has an engraving on it that says Smith.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll take the pocket watch off of him, but I kind of turn the rest of the group and I say,
Which, by the way, that's the same last name that's on the
right,
address.
that's what I was getting ready to double check, was make sure that that was the same name. But yeah, so after I pull out the pocket watch, I'll pull out the address to see whose name was on the address, and I'll sit there and go, I think that this body that's hanging here is the person we were supposed to come and contact. He's got a pocket watch on him as I hold it up that has his, what was the last name on there?
It's like J.G. Smith.
J.G. Smith written on there, and what was on the address?
Jimmy Smith.
Okay, so I'm gonna sit there and be like, yeah, this is most likely him. As I pull it up, I just put it back in my pocket and then I put the pocket watch away.
Is this a single room apartment?
Yeah.
Alright. I wanna.
Definitely, considering the roll that you got earlier, if there was no battle damage in this room, you could tell that probably the lodgings of the vampire, due to the fact there's a coffin instead of a bed in one of the bedrooms. Well, just the bedroom, I should say. And it is a minimalist kind of apartment. There's very little in here. And like the kind of things that would have been bought for a vampire to try to blend in, there's like one of each of them. Like there's one plate, one spoon, one fork. So someone who looks like they may be trying to blend in, but not really.
I think it's blending with bachelors.
Might you need more than one plate, one bowl, one fork, one spoon, and one knife?
Well, it's just because of the minimalist nature. You're like, okay, yeah, vampire looks good. It's something that would stick out to somebody else.
Alright.
You do a lot of this.
We have to do something with this body and the coffin.
We didn't kill him. We had him. We both out.
No, but when somebody else they're gonna find the guy hanging upside down.
Did
in the
anybody see us
coffin.
come in here?
We could inform our higher ups and they can send their cleanup crews.
Well, see, here's the thing that I'm thinking about. He has currently been strung up. You found a stake, and I'm not all that worried that someone's going to come along and find his body, because if he was already a scuffle and there are weapons that are there that could very easily kill a vampire, that's probably what happened. Speaking of which, can I search him to make sure he doesn't have like a big old hole in his chest?
Oh, we wouldn't have one.
We don't know because we haven't checked yet.
Considering what you rolled to check his pockets, you like lift his corpse up by the like vest he was wearing on his suit, and you see what looks to be claw marks that went through his neck. So he wasn't beheaded by a blade or stabbed with a stake. Whatever killed him had claws.
Well, I guess we can estimate that it wasn't no vampire hunters that got to him.
Alright, which means we really have to hide this stuff.
I agree.
Because the landlord is going to come looking for rent eventually, and finding a dead body hanging upside down without its head and a coffin in the next room, that's going to get around, and actual vampire hunters are going to pick this up.
By the way, I forgot to tell you, there is a perfect blood ring in the floor underneath the corpse. So
Alright,
something was sitting there underneath him.
Yeah, when the cops come after the landlord finds this, they're gonna point out all this stuff, and that's gonna get around to vampire hunters. And then we're going to be in danger.
Well,
Also-
my thing is that people are gonna see us leaving with this stuff most likely,
Oh,
especially
yeah,
if we
so-
try to haul out a body.
We don't need to haul out the body. We just need to make it where it doesn't look like he was a vampire. We destroy the coffin, and we set the body, and we smear the blood, so that way it looks like somebody came in and killed him.
Magic man, turn your body into this.
Oh, how much damage is there in the apartment itself? Or claw marks and stuff like that?
There's like one kind of big slash that was made with some sort of blade,
Okay.
and then there are like claw marks going up and down the walls, on the ceilings, and it was a fight. Like, and it was not a little one. This was a clash of supernatural titans.
Let's see. I'm gonna try and do a check to investigate to see if I can maybe narrow down what we might be facing.
Okay, give me another occult roll.
Okay, we do the same then. Is it just straight occult or intelligence?
It'll be intelligence and occult.
Okay. Probably not. Almost all at once.
So, what was it altogether?
Let's see here. 4, 5, 7.
You ain't got a fucking clue. It could have been another vampire who had weapons and just ended up getting the last lucky shot in. Although that doesn't quite make sense with bleeding him out. Could have been a werewolf. Could have been a fey creature of some sort. It could have been a dampier.
I just tell everyone, I have no idea what we're up against.
There's a lot of things it could have been.
Yeah.
You know it's not human in origin just because of the craziness of the claws on the ceilings and shit.
I wasn't involved, so.
Alright, well, who's gonna help me carry the coffin out? Because we're not destroying it in here.
We gotta do is pry it apart.
Yeah, but people are gonna hear it being torn apart and they're gonna call or come looking to investigate what all the noise is. I say we just carry the box out and then destroy it somewhere else.
Well, I don't think people will be hearing that much of it because we already broke the door down.
Yeah, and it's.
Not really.
Or
All we did was
You
jimmy
do,
the lock.
But we're pretty strong. All we gotta do is go.
Yeah, but the thing is though is that it's still gonna make noise. Just because we're strong doesn't mean by it makes things more quiet. We're still breaking wood.
You don't have to break it. Roll it apart. It's just held together by nails.
Yeah.
Not like screws.
Mm.
You just go slowly.
Yeah, there should be enough. There should be enough where the walls don't just.
What's the shape of the coffin?
This coffin's like pretty much just a pine box.
Like, does it have the coffin shape, or is it?
Yeah, it has a coffin shape, and you see that it's lined with dirt.
I mean, I can help in taking it apart.
But there's like nothing fancy in the coffin. Like there's no kind of cushion or anything like that. It's literally just a pine box with a dirt inside the lining.
So yeah, I'll help you on that. Let's see. I have a 1 in performance. That could help, maybe.
But what are you trying to do?
What are you trying to perform?
Just take the box apart, piece by piece.
I feel like that would be more of a power thing in a performance. But that's up to him on that.
So is that what you guys are trying to do? You're trying to take the boards apart so it can't be identified as a coffin?
Make it easier to carry the boards out.
Just
They
the
just carry
part of
these
it,
boards we're working on.
just the
showing
top.
apartments.
where it goes flat and then down, then in, just that top part.
Before they go tearing this thing apart, is there any kind of symbols or anything on this coffin at all?
There's a cross on the lid. So some of you, because the lid is open and it's not facing you, you're kind of hesitant to go near it. Something feels off about it. But if for those with at least one adaptation point in faith, you could probably touch the lid and flip it open and be like, "Oh, okay," and then you.
This tickles, guys.
Yeah, that's
It
probably
does-
something my character would do is
Yeah.
just kind of like check it out and be like,
I should be alright. I got 2 points there.
Because all we need to do is make it where it doesn't look like a coffin, where it looks just like a normal box. Then we can put the body in it, and then it won't seem as odd us carrying it down the street.
Maintenance been carrying a full sealed box out of the apartment.
Actually, all of you guys, give me a wisdom roll. If you're proficient with history, you can add it.
Okay.
20.
16.
You ain't got to roll very high.
I got 11.
I think older Dave's probably the only one who failed because he only had 1 dice to roll.
Well, I got a full.
I got a 19.
I'm staying out because my idea
So-
is to get the fuck out of here and not miss it.
It is the weekend before Halloween, so a couple guys rolling out with a casket. Probably not all that weird, especially considering you have a couple Irish with you.
And on top of
Something
that,
for all Saints Day, or you're not that far away from where the Mexican territories were, so maybe you might be doing something for Dia de los Muertos.
you have the Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
So traveling with a coffin, being seen with a coffin
in New
right
Orleans, of
now
all places.
in New
Come on.
Orleans.
That's the new shit.
Yeah.
We just put the guy in it and leave.
We are gonna look out a place when I have March.
Oh, you go, dude. I had no part of it.
I can sing. I went to Saints for March.
So you guys-
years ago, I guess.
So when you guys are gonna cut him down and put him in the coffin and head out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So are you gonna try to do anything to cover your tracks, or are you just leaving the rest of the scene the way it is?
I'm gonna do what I can to clean up the blood circle and the bloody footprints.
Okay. Give me a wisdom roll. I don't think there are any proficiencies that would help in that particular department if you don't have any alchemy.
That is 16.
Okay. You do a good enough job. I'll say that if the sunlight's directly hitting it, you can tell a difference in the shades of the boards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if it's dark like this, or if the light isn't directly hitting it, blends in fine enough.
Alright.
Is there a rug in the room? Throw the rug over it.
Yeah, there's a rug.
Yeah, we'll just move the rug over it after that.
It's got a little bit of debris from the roof and stuff.
These did work well the next day. Was it the game of the weeks?
Yes.
They worked well the next game.
Alright, so you guys have done what you can to cover your tracks. You have your mistress's friend's corpse in a coffin, and you're traveling down into the streets of Nolens. So you got the corpse in the coffin. Where are you going with it? What are you doing with it?
I suggest we head towards the poorer district and then out of the city that way.
I mean, why can't we just exit the city? Why do we need to go through the poor district and then leave? There's just more chances of us being seen by multiple people.
Didn't we already kill half the poor district? Let's just go.
The fact that Irish immigrants would be poorer, so if we're heading through some of the richer districts, we'd stand out
Well,
way more.
the poor district is mostly French people, but there are a handful of German and Irish immigrants mixed in with them.
Yeah,
The French Quarter's the
we'd
party.
stand out a lot less going through the poorer district with everyone here than we would going through the wealthier.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but there's still more chances of people seeing us, so the likelihood of people stopping and noticing us would be a lot higher, even if we are going to another district.
Local law.
Because
local
it's still
real-ass
more and more
questions.
people that can see us.
Which way is the shorter path, though?
But I'd rather take the shortest path to get out of the town or city or wherever.
Look,
we're
the
in.
French Quarter.
If there's an issue, I could help with that.
Are you attempting to get out of the city in general, or
Yeah, just get out of the city in
the
general.
quickest way out is the way you came in?
Yeah, back out.
Okay, then I just want to do that then.
But I'd rather not take chances of running into multiple people, regardless of what district we're in.
I'm just thinking we'd stand out less, but whatever you guys feel like we're doing.
I think I can help with that. If there's any issues, my dark gifts should help.
Okay. So I'm gonna do a roll here. A couple people take notice, but they don't do anything. It's kind of like how they treated you when you were walking in.
Okay.
They're kind of like, okay, that's weird, but whatever.
Not too unusual around here.
I mean, if we notice them,
It's Louisiana. What you gonna do?
I think you said you assist them.
No, your sister.
Oh.
So, where are you going with the coffin after you leave the city?
I think the best place to go would be back towards the plantation.
I mean, if we're already out of the town or city, and we're not really going to go to any of the town or city itself, I'd say we just take it back to the coven.
Yeah.
Leave it intact, because there's no point in destroying it if we need to show them what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can show them what happened. Plus, if they're like, oh, well, we don't need that no more, we can always just put it where we put the unhired help corpses.
Back towards the plantation where the coven is.
Yeah, I'd say we just head back towards the plantation.
Okay. So you get back there, and the lights have been burnt out, kind of snuffed out for the night. Which seems kind of strange to you guys, because you're like, she's a vampire. But You knock on the door, and a human answers it. It's James from earlier, her servant, and he's like, "What are you doing here this time of night?"
My character holds up the pocket watch and says, "The address that she sent us to, we believe this is his body and casket. He was decapitated."
Oh,
Please get your
Uh,
mistress.
yeah, I'll get the missus. Go ahead, bring that in here. Oh my goodness! And he like runs back in there, just leaves the door for you guys to deal with, and he takes off
I hold
towards
the
his
door as you all
mistress.
walk in.
I think only you two can touch the coffin, right?
Pretty much.
Oh, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's carry it.
I say, whoever's got faith.
And
Or-
considering both of you have a strength score of 4 at the moment, a power score of 4, this coffin weighs next to nothing to you two, especially since you're sharing the weight.
After everybody gets in, I'll shut the door.
We just pass it back and forth.
So, you see your patron, the coven mistress, coming back down. She's like wrapping a robe around her, and she has like a little lantern she's carrying, and her man helps her walk down the steps safely, and then he kind of bows and takes off in his own direction, and then she's just kind of like, "Well, you boys interrupted me pretending to be asleep for the night. What have you found out?"
Morally, that we have these contact users. They think they found his body.
He didn't help investigate. Here's the pocket watch.
Right, I don't want a part of it.
She takes it and she looks on the back and she's like, "Well, I've seen him have this before. Show me the box."
I open up the lid. And I also say, careful, there is a cross on it.
She goes, and she like puts her hand directly on it
Uh,
and like rips the top of the coffin off, and she's like, "Similar build. The watch was on him, I take it?"
yes. They had him tied up upside down. And there also appears to be claw marks from where his head was, and there was also claw marks inside his room.
She puts the coffin lid back on it. And she goes, "I'll have my men take it out back and burn it."
Any idea what might have done this? Oh, and there was also a small, perfectly circular puddle of blood underneath where he was hanging. Almost as if they had drained his blood there.
The bow, you hear her speaking very colorfully in French.
I did what I could to cover up what little blood was left.
And she goes, "Fucking dump you." Let me guess. You probably found weapons, yes?
Just a wooden stick.
And then all of a sudden the damage from the weapons just stopped.
No, there was blade marks all around, as well as claw marks all over the ceiling.
But I mean, like, there may have been 1 or 2 big blade
Yeah.
attacks, and then the rest were claw. Fucking Dampier. He didn't. The reason why he didn't pick up the stake is because he didn't need it anymore. He probably drank off blood in the middle of the fight. Normally, one such as myself would not give such a task to those as young as you. But being as though there are so many of you, I'm going to entrust hunting this creature to you. If you succeed in finding it, in dispatching it, I'll reward you fairly for doing this. If you fail, let's just say you don't want to fail. But if you do, you don't want to be captured alive. She then again starts to curse in French, but a little bit more controlled and quieter to herself. And then she goes, "Gentlemen, you're excused for the rest of the night. It's yours."
Thank you.
And then she goes back to her quarters.
How long do we have until sunrise?
2 hours.
Alright.
Yay! Going back to my coffin.
Gotta go back to my grave.
Save.
As they're getting to leave, I'm gonna walk on the door. Just to the woman and say, "Do you have an idea of where we may possibly locate this dead people?"
That's your job.
Any possible guesses?
He probably stayed at my friend's apartment whilst he was training him. I would say you have at most a few nights or days, since they can move around during the day, to find this particular creature before it moves on or kills another one of us.
My character would have done left it before then.
You hear the click of her door shutting behind you. So you all decide to end your night there?
How long would it take me to contact my sire?
No matter how
You got 2
satisfying it
points
was.
for that night. Do any of you want to purchase any upgrades or anything like that before you wake up again?
No. Nope, I'm good where I'm at.
Okay. So you wake up, you get that hunger point taken away from you again, because it is the call of the blood that drives your undead corpse to wake up every night. And you know what your job is to do at this point. So, what are you guys doing? Where are you meeting up?
Do I
Well-
sense my sire?
You probably get an idea that your coven mistress has probably sent the sires out on pretty big deal. If it's been 2 nights and you haven't felt your sire's presence,
Alright.
they may be gone for a while.
Okay. I want to head back to where we left the deer and see if the corpses are still there.
Yeah.
Alright, then I'm gonna feed off of them.
Okay, that gives your hunger point back.
I'm just gonna attempt to.
Is it
hunt down
only
an animal.
one or is it all 3?
All 3.
When you wake up as a Wendigo, that's 2 points that you fill in for that night.
Okay.
But you get 1 point back for feeding.
Okay.
So you've fed twice in 2 nights, so you have 2 points of hunger.
Alright. Can I feed more and recover?
You'd have to hunt a little bit more, but yeah.
So I can't off of the flesh of the 3 does?
The flesh that's still edible on them and hasn't rotted in the 24 hours was enough for 1 point.
Okay.
I'm just going out of the forest to hunt a rat.
I was say I'm just gonna try and find the closest food source.
Okay, so
I guess I'm going after small things to try to get rid of all the hunger.
are you guys doing these huntings as a group or your own individual huntings?
I'm just doing mine separately, so I'm just going after a rat.
Individual.
I was just gonna do mine before.
Okay, so You get tracking on top of wisdom, and I need wisdom rolls from everyone else who's doing their own individual hunting.
15. I do have a point in survival.
It's your wisdom score on your character sheet.
20.
You roll a 20?
I have a point in survival.
Yeah, you'll be able to use your survival skill. You rolled a 12? Okay.
That's not counting that.
Okay, so those of you who rolled below 15, you found small things that you can feed on, such as mice, rats, injured birds, things of that nature. Those of you who rolled 15 and above, you found things such as coyotes, dogs, medium-sized kind of creatures, and bayou things such as that way, like snakes and stuff like that. Do you all choose to feed on these things?
Yes.
I choose to feed on a snake that I found.
Okay.
As long as it's not a dog, then yes.
Why specifically not a dog?
Because he likes dogs.
It's because that might draw attention. Dogs going
He
missing.
needs to kill Blue.
No, it just might draw attention. He tries to stay away from that.
People don't care for
Vampire.
snakes, so.
He's a former vampire hunter, so he knows what they're looking for. Pets going missing might draw attention to something's there.
If I have one rat
Or
left
people carrying a coffin out in the middle of the night when you draw attention.
Okay, so I would say that you've definitely eaten enough to knock off your hunger point. So you still got one, but it's not affecting you. And the rest of you have gotten your hunger point back. I would say it's, considering the time of year, it's probably rounding 9:30 when you guys meet up near the entrance of the city. Those of you who have beauty, are you wearing your masks? Okay.
Yeah, use my beauty point or whatever to make myself look normal. Yeah.
And it's considered a mask because if you fight or need to feed off of something else, say you heal yourself or whatever, the illusion of what your body is in is going to drop, and it's going to show your natural vampiric form. So you'll need to feed to keep that
Gain
up.
it back.
So
Do I have any contacts in the city that wouldn't be shocked if I showed up like this?
I'm gonna say yeah, because you were trained by the Coven, so they would have other agents within the city.
Alright. I want to try to contact one of them to see if they've heard anything.
Okay. Yeah, there's at least two people you think of that you can contact.
Alright. So I bring it up to them that I do have contacts in the city that might be able to help us with the damn fear problem.
Okay. You've all been informed of this information now. Are you gonna get in touch with his contacts, or what are you wanting to do?
Well, I'll try to learn who they are, so that way if I have any more questions at any other point in time, I can try and talk to them.
Do we all go near his contacts?
They
Or his contacts vampire hunter?
Well,
They
remember,
work-
he's only a vampire hunter because the Coven trained him to be
Yeah,
one.
they work
Yeah,
for the
these-
Coven.
These hunters work for you directly,
Okay.
so they would probably look at you as superiors to themselves.
Yes. They are part of the Coven. They're like the familiars for the Coven.
Like these would be the people who would do the cleanup. If there's another coven trying to mosey in on your territory, or a group of vampires are trying to form another coven, these would be the ones who would be dispatched to take care of them. Or at least scout to see
Yeah.
how strong the vampires are who are trying to make this new coven. So, you guys go to this individual. Write down on the back of your paper in your allies section I'm gonna say that this particular individual was probably named Mercutio.
How you spell that?
Marcuci.
Under known NPCs.
Yeah, known NPCs or allies. Either one. For you, definitely it's ally. But for the rest of them, it can be known NPC. Just in case you know your character dies, they still know who this person is.
Yeah.
So, you meet up with him, and as he opens the door and he sees you, what's your character's name again?
Jack Hunt.
He opens the door and he's like, Jack! Jack! And he's like, he gets really excited. He like brings you in for a hug and everything. And then he like waits a second and he pushes you back and he's like, oh wait, I've heard of your promotion. No bite me. No bite me.
I have no intention to bite.
Come in, all of you. Come in. Wow, I never expect you to show up on my footsteps since the promotion happened.
We run into a bit of a problem.
Well, that's why I'm here. What,
Dampier killed one of ours.
here?
Yeah.
Fucking half-breed. What happened? I need information.
He met him at his home, killed him, and drank his blood. He took.
Sounds like a dump, yeah.
He took. There was a ring underneath the body where it was hanging. I believe he may have taken a bucket of his blood.
That's very bad news. That would make this damn pet very dangerous.
All of the uppers are out, so it was left to us to hunt him.
Would you like me to come with you to assist?
I was hoping you might have heard of something.
Well, this is the first attack that we've heard of. I would suggest it's a little out of date. It's a little old-fashioned. I would suggest that you get in contact with the headmistress and get some proper armor. Was the vampire you all found slain? Was he wearing armor?
No, he was
No.
not.
I would suggest getting some,
Alright.
and the good stuff, not just cloth armor, something with a little bit more heft to it. If he cuts you when he hasn't drank from what he stole from the other one, he can drink from his cuts with you, and he will. That will be his goal in the fight. Is that he will try to cut you and drink from you, so to steal your abilities.
Everyone keep him away from me.
Everybody drain yourself first.
I do not think that will work.
I'm getting woozy. I'm almost full. Let's go.
My first thought for about possibly getting armor is going to where the group that I worked with before I was turned, because they are expecting me to come back at some point to, make contact with them again.
Okay. Well, you can get in contact with them after this. I'm assuming you're not saying this out loud for everyone else to
No.
hear.
I'm going to ask him if he can keep an ear out, just in case we don't find anything tonight. We have a little while before he might leave the city or kill again. So if you could keep an ear out for anything.
I will keep my ears posting to the ground as well as tell my contacts to do the same. Should you find the Dampia before we are able to get back in contact with you. The best time to attack it would be after it's a few hours after it's drank. Dampir, they treat our master's blood, they treat your blood, I should say, like an alcoholic does his drink. They need it to function. Otherwise, they kind of get sickly. And so, when they first ingest it, they will have all of your abilities at their most powerful. But a few hours after they drink, they lose all of them, and they become slow and kind of sickly. So that would be the best time to make your move. But when they are on vampire blood, you don't want to be around them. They're very dangerous. Is there anything else that you need? I have some crossbows. I have.
Do you have any lock-picking tools?
A crossbow would be nice.
I do have.
Do you have any ammo for a blunderbuss?
He kind of thinks to himself and he goes, "We don't really keep pistol ammunition all that much due to what we hunt. It doesn't do much to them. But I can help you with other things." And he goes, "You may want to wait in here." And he goes back and you hear this kind of click from the next room. And as he opens it, those of you who have no adaptation to faith, you feel a general repulsion from the area that he is in right now.
I step back.
Like, it's almost like you can feel the divinity in the next room, and it offends you. And he comes back in after closing that up. And he's like, can any of you handle silver?
I can. I pull out the silver dagger. I already got one.
He goes, "Okay, how about this?" And he holds up a stake, and it's just silver. There's like no covering.
That might be a little much.
Okay, so you need a handle. Okay. So he puts that silver in like a little holster that he's now wearing on a vest that he just kind of grabbed. And he goes, this should do you. And he hands you what looks to be a kind of like this wild knife, but it has a wooden handle. And you can tell just by looking at it that it's silver. Like, it looks like it's a multi-purpose tool kind of knife. Almost a military grade kind of thing, but it's made out of silver. And he goes, those of you who are of a religious weakness, you may not want to look at this or take a few steps back.
I close my eyes.
I turn around and I step into the corner.
I keep looking.
Okay. He pulls out a vial of water. And he's like, it's just glass. So, you know what's in it is holy water, but the container itself is safe for you to touch.
But it's a double down right
Who all has faith? Okay.
Okay. So, you may want to hide that away for these two.
I pull out the silver daggers and I go, "Want to go?" They also
He's
repel
like-
you at the same time. So you're like, "Oh,
Not much.
He's doing
And,
like the Jack Sparrow, I got a jar of dirt.
Keep in mind, though, that when you go up against the damp here, holy water, silver, it's not going to do anything. Yeah. It's literally all of the strengths of the vampire it drank from with no vampiric weaknesses. So when you fight it, relatively it should be as easy to kill as a normal human. It's just not going to have any of your weaknesses.
Man, some of this stuff's not good for now. I do have a question for maybe something. Do you have any silvered shots for this? I'd pull off on my single shot.
Best I can do is a silver-tipped bolt for a crossbow. Okay. I have two different kinds of crossbows. A long crossbow and a single hand crossbow.
I'll take the hand crossbow. Don't mind.
So he walks back in and he comes back, and he hands you the big crossbow and a tool to reload it. He's like, I'm fairly certain you'll be strong enough by yourself that you won't need the tool, but it's still.
Handy if I got my other hand full.
And this is where he kind of tips it over and catches it on the bottom and hands it to you by the handle.
Thank you for all your help.
Did you have a lock picking set?
Oh yes, and he digs into the back of the vest, and you hear him kind of unbutton a couple snaps on the back, and then he pulls it out like this. It looks like silver at first, but he brings it to you and he goes, aluminum.
I go,
Another thing before we go, and especially before we go and actually confront these damn people. Why am I going here all the way? But hey, before we go fight these lots, I'm not sure how to ask this really, but you know, just so we're in top form, so we're not going out fight, getting all these animals to feed off of. You know where we can find some volunteers?
Well, I could come with you tonight if you wanted me. If you wanted me to. See, now you got me doing that.
I was heavily implying people that are okay with us feeding off them.
Well, all of the coven trained vampire hunters are okay with you feeding off of them, especially in terms of like a fight. Not just because you can do more than they can in the fight, but you know they were
promoted.
let's just say they were juice boxes before they were hunters, so it wouldn't be the first time a vampires bit them.
And, you know, they're kind of overly determined, so. Everybody wants a promotion.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up.
Okay, did I have an apartment in the city before I was there?
If you did, someone else has been moved in by this point to take your position as far as your promotion.
Okay.
Because as a fledgling vampire, you have to return to where you were buried
Right.
every night.
They'd be filling my old position. I would like to try to contact them as well.
Okay.
Having multiple people.
Are you gonna go meet with your gang while he's going to the second
Yes.
connection? Okay.
My character's not really going to say where he's going, but he'll let everyone know that he'll meet up with them at wherever they feel like meeting up at afterwards.
Okay.
I'll give them the address to where I used to live.
Where do you used to live?
Where I used to live when I was human.
Oh. Alright.
Okay. You make it there with no problems. You make it to your destination. I'm gonna deal with him first, and
Yeah.
then we'll take care of your contact. Yeah. So you come up to this bar that you've been to a million times, and you go inside, and a couple people are like, "Isn't that the guy? You know, that's the dude, this big guy." And they're like, "Yeah. Don't make eye contact. Don't look at him. Don't pay attention to your own shit. And you get up to the bartender, and the bartender's kind of got a hand-rolled cigarette, and he's taking a puff on it. And you see him take his hand press as he's pressing down to get beer from the keg into the glass that he's got. He goes, "Here you go, bud." And then he looks over and he goes, "Boss, welcome back."
I just look at him and say thank you. I'm actually here to request some help.
Yeah, sure. Help with what?
Well, it's best not to talk out in the open.
Fair enough. He kind of goes, "Hey, Ziggy, yo, run the bar for a second." "All right." And he goes, "Come on." And he like lifts the thing for you to come out from behind the bar. And he's like, "Back the fuck off, you Irish animals." Bar's a little bit frenzied tonight up top. You got music playing and people dancing. And then he pulls up a panel for the floor behind the bar. And you've been down there before, you know what's going on. And it's almost louder downstairs than what it was upstairs. As he comes down and he shuts the door, you see that the fighting pits that you started down there for like these underground brawl boxing arena things is still going on, and it's become a little bit more popular since the last time you were in there. There's a few unfamiliar faces in the crowd that you see. He's like, "Well, what's up, boss? What's going on?"
My character, he just kind of takes notice about how well things are going. He says, "Oh, it seems like everything seems to be rather well."
Yeah, your cut's up in the office, by the way.
All right. So I have a request to make of you and anyone else you can get to help out in this matter.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
So, as player to DM, before I actually say this as my vampire,
Okay.
they all worked with my sire before because, like, we all work for the Covenant, right? Like,
Your gang is separate from the Covenant.
Okay, so he wouldn't really know anything about what a vampire is.
Yeah, you're in your current state. He's happy to see you, but on the same token, you can sense kind of a, oh, he's worried about me because you look like shit compared to what you looked like the last time you see you.
So, as my character, he'll sit there and he'll say, have you all heard of anything strange going on?
Strange?
Recent deaths or murders that seem odd.
No, I haven't heard of anything like that, but you feeling okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm fine.
You look rough.
And I kind of sit there and I just kind of like reach over, just kind of like put my hand on his shoulder, and I just kind of like.
As you lay your hand on his shoulder, you feel him almost kind of reactively recoil a little bit. And he's like, "It's fucking cold." And he like checks your forehead and he's like, "I should keep you down here with the kegs." Like you're feeling right now. You're freezing.
Yes, I may feel cold, but I assure you that I am fine.
Okay, whatever you say. What are you needing help with?
I would like you and everyone else to keep an eye around for anyone who seems to be acting suspiciously strange or may hear of something that may come across as odd or unnatural.
You want me to get a hold of our contacts in the cops?
Yes. See if they've heard anything strange or unexplainable.
Fair enough. Like I said, your cut from the fights is up in the office.
Alright.
Is that all you need?
Yeah, for now. Not sure how often I'll be stopping in here and there. Obviously, I'm still going to be coming back, but seems like you've all got everything taken care of here and don't really need me to stick
we got things going okay at the moment. We do need your advice on a little something though. The Italians up near the New England area, like New York and New Jersey, Pennsylvania, I think that's the New England area. They're doing their own underground fights, and they're thinking that maybe we could put something together where like their champ goes against our champ. Maybe put some bets down with that. Is that something that you might be interested in?
That sounds like a fun idea.
Okay, I'll get a hold of Ziggy, and he can get in touch with his contact up there.
Very well then. Just let me know how they plan to set things up.
Last time I talked to Ziggy, he said that they want our guy to go up there.
All right.
I'm not entirely sure if I trust that, really, though.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking. If you can, see if they'd be willing to send their champion down here along with a few others, and
A few other fighters, or
a few of their people, whoever it is, their champion.
oh,
their fighter,
just people to
etc.
make them feel comfortable. Okay, I see what you.
To reassure them that nothing sketchy is gonna go on.
Okay, yeah. I'll have Ziggy tell his contact about that.
And one last thing. If they agree to come down here, let me know. I may be in for some fun myself.
You're gonna find the pits?
I don't see a reason why I wouldn't. Especially if we're going to have a lot of fun entertainment like this going on from other places.
Okay. Never pictured you as a pit fighter kind of guy, but all right. I'm gonna go tell Ziggy.
Alright.
So he turns around and like goes back up the steps and goes back under the bar.
Yeah, I follow him back out and head up towards my office.
Okay. When you go in there, there's you find $13. Some of it's in coins, and some of it's in like dollar bills. Kind of a spread, but it's all like stuffed in an envelope for you up there on your desk.
Alright. After that, after I grab the money and I tell them all I'm off, I'll start heading to the location where Dave told me to meet up with him at.
Okay. So you arrive at your old apartment, and you give a couple knocks, and door opens. You've not met this particular hunter before. He was probably being trained when you were hunting.
I introduced myself and explained that he took over my position.
He's like, "Oh, you were promoted."
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. He kind of shuts the door, and then you hear clicks from like locks and stuff like that. And he opens it. And he's like, "Yeah, come in." Oh, wait. He grabs a rug, and he like brings it over, and he flaps it out and puts it down, and gets it all nice and neat. And then he's like, "Okay, now you can come in." He's done a few precautions that you weren't aware of last time you were there. So, yeah, come on.
I can just imagine a vampire walking into a doorway after being invited in and then being told no as they're halfway in. But it's like the front half that actually walks and just bursts into flames.
A spell needs to be cast on the entrance of the door to uninvite a vampire who's been invited.
Right.
Or the entrance needs to change hands.
Right. I was just saying, I can just imagine the hilariousness for a comedy bit.
So,
Like it magically shot it out.
It's like a slingshot.
That's what I imagined. They watched out.
Right.
At that point, you just wait for them to enter, and then you go uninvited.
Shuts the door with spikes on the other side and just says, uninvited. Smacks him with the door.
So I inform them of our situation.
I've never fought one of those before.
I didn't know if you might have heard something. Like maybe somebody noticed a guy walking around with a bucket of some kind of dark liquid.
Maybe you're looking for a doctor.
I give them the area that we were investigating.
I don't know anything about that area, but maybe you're looking for some sort of doctor or butcher, someone who would get away with walking around with a bucket of blood. This has only been one killing, right?
As far as we know.
Okay, so you're probably looking for someone who's does odd jobs, a drifter. If they do have a profession like a doctor, that would help out a lot, considering how often doctors move around. It does make the butcher less likely, though. But it can happen. Give me an occult roll on Dampier.
Alright.
I'll let them know that since Dampiers are half-breed, he may also be young and just able to move and do things.
Well, that's what I'm having him do this roll on.
22.
Okay, so Dampier are made in a handful of ways. One, their mother was pregnant with them when they were bit. They age to maturity very aggressively from that, but I'm trying to think of how to read this. It's not so quickly that it's like, oh my god, it's like slightly faster than normal people. So like when someone would think of an 11-year-old, when they're 11, they look like 18, 19. So that's how aggressive the aging process is for them.
I can just imagine if it was that fast, like a lot faster.
But then it slows down when they reach maturity. So you know that's probably not the way this Dampier was made. And if they would have made that way, they're not from around here.
And I informed everyone of that information.
Another way a Dampier can be made is a siring can go wrong sometimes. And instead of getting the full vampirism, they can become a Dampier. That is very unlikely to have occurred, but it's possible. And then another way that it can occur is straight up fornication between a vampire and a human.
I think that's probably the most likely case.
And if this is a vampire's offspring, whoever child it is, probably is going to have some bad ramifications if they're found out to be the father.
Someone has vamp daddy issues.
Goth girl, me.
So now that you are aware of the different ways that Dampier can be made,
first kill that we know of.
So about my age.
I turn to look at you. Was it you?
You've seen me enough.
I haven't been with you all the time.
You know enough. This isn't me.
Are you watching the live?
It's so off-putting. There's like a 3 or 4 second delay. Like I look over and then I look back and I look at myself.
Stop looking at me, me.
Not me, you. I am you.
You know, I even shared it.
No, not
Yeah.
you, me. Anyways.
I asked him if he can look into any new doctors have been reported in the city.
There is one doctor traveling from another town. I can't remember which one it was, but he's new in town.
Yeah, it's like a 4 second delay.
He goes out and he kind of brings back this card, and it's actually not a full blown doctor. It's a dentist.
Let me see them do
Whenever you spin into focus.
So he hands you this traveling dentist's card.
This would
I
go
look
shout
at it
off
and I
as
go,
a doll.
this may not be the guy we're looking for.
Well, anything that can help.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm sorry.
It's alright. I know how hard it is.
I'm sorry, I'm trying.
Dude,
Please
do
don't mind me.
you already have assistants?
Right now we're just in the searching phase, trying to find them.
Okay. Do you need any weapons or anything?
We're good on weapons.
Okay. I'll be here if you need anything else.
Okay.
Come by anytime you want. Obviously.
Would my character be showing up at this point, knocking on the door?
Your character's about to the building, yeah.
So we'd be leaving just at the time that you were getting there.
Right.
Yeah.
I was only heading over there because we were meeting up there.
So, thank him for everything, and we'll head out.
And he's like fanboying out a little bit. He's like, oh, it was my honor. Like, this is probably the first time he's ever actually seen vampires, especially vampires of the Covenant,
Oh god.
actually coming and talking to him.
Oh god, he's fangirling.
so he's like,
Baby, do it!
bet me harder, daddy.
Pretty much.
One of our stomachs grumble.
I get his name before we leave.
I'm gonna say, his name is Lincoln Riley.
Okay.
The guy I was talking to earlier, what was his name?
I'll have to write it down if you did say it.
I'll say Paul. Paulie.
What's in Lincoln Riley?
No, his name is Lincoln and his last name is Riley.
We've done
No,
plenty
this
of
is
crimes. We
Patrick.
need to link someone else to.
So, you guys meet outside the building. I'd say there's probably 6 hours roughly left of darkness.
I say, do we want to try and go back to the apartments to see if we can find anything else?
You guys. I mean, the apartment where we found the corpse.
Yeah, see if we can't find any other clues.
I already tried investigating. I didn't find anything.
Well, who knows? We could maybe see if they're striking more than just one room in that apartment.
It's up to you all. I'll go with that.
See if there's maybe anything on the outside of the building we might have missed. If door was locked when we got there, so they couldn't have left through that room.
You can lock the door when you leave. We didn't find the keys on the guy either.
I mean, fair point, but
That's where I've been thinking this whole fucking time. What seems like, oh, we made by birth.
Possible. That would be a good way to get inside.
Drink my daddy and get some powers.
don't say that.
It was horrible once it came out of my mouth. Think before you talk to him.
I was about to say, rephrase that, please.
No, it's Alabama. Drink your daddy.
No, it's drink my daddy, not drink
It's not
your daddy.
Alabama, it's Louisiana.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so they cousin fucking swamps.
As long as it ain't with a gator.
But my mama said, my mama said.
What are you afraid of?
Work! Damn! You!
Considering your
Mama
part
said, I'm
snake
evidence
already,
pulling out,
don't
don't
worry
always
about
work.
friendly customers.
Right, exactly, my point.
Figures if I might get your mom or somebody, what the hell?
Mama's wrong again.
No, Miss Skit. No, Sanders. Mom's right. You wrong.
Guys good?
Yep.
Yep.
How's it going? We're doing a live.
You wanna come say hi?
Live.
Yep.
I'm saying hi.
So this is the owner of the Warriors Den where we're broadcasting tonight.
He's not in frame.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
that's it.
Yeah. John Ederington.
There he is.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean,
Yep.
I don't want to interrupt your live stream.
Oh, it's all good.
That's alright.
D&D.
We're playing my game. I
Oh,
like the game we're playing.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. You guys have a great day. I just want to check in, make sure no issues.
Yep, you too.
Let's not break the heat. We didn't have anything famous at all. It's not even counting me as a viewer right now.
Well, that's nice.